and welcome to Modelling Misadventures. And in this video I'm going to carry on with this, my attempt to make a 3D printed version of FAB1, the pink Rolls Royce from Thunderbirds. Now in the last video I got most of the main body parts put together, but there are a few mistakes and I'm going to have to do a bit more sanding, especially on this front end here where I ended up with this ridge between the wings and the bonnet. I'm also going to put some extra details on the bodywork at the front and the rear. So let's get cracking with that. Now I've got my stall set out, I've got my Dremel tool, and I'm going to begin the horrible task of sanding these wings down smooth with the bonnet. Well, I've done the first rough sand on these wings and they're a lot better. You can see I've gone through there to the filling rather than the surface. It's pretty rough and still a bit of a step here, but just got to keep going. Just going to fill this with some Tamiya putty. Look at that. I dread to think what the expert modelers out there will be thinking of this. Well, it's gradually getting better, apart from this bit. But now I'm going to start gluing some more bits on. So these are the bits that I've printed. This is an adapter to go on the front of the bonnet to take the front grille. These are the front headlights pieces, 3 headlights in each. This is the fluted dashboard cover, whatever that was for, and this is the rear headlight section. I'll put some more pieces on this. Got the front headlight sections in, the grille will sit between those. Got this fluted section of the dashboard, and I've put the rear headlight section in. So I'm really happy with how that's coming along. Now it's time for more filling and sanding. Well, I've just discovered another major computer design error on this model, and it's to do with these rear wheel arches. Now, I made these mock-up wheels earlier just to test for size, and if I was going to use these, they would fit in here quite nicely, but the ones that I've got are too thick, and I should have put a cutout in the bottom of this boot to take the wheel. So that's going to involve cutting that out in order to get the wheel in. Again, it's not the way it should be done, but that's how this model's going. Well, I've rectified that problem by cutting out a big chunk of plastic, and then I've 3D printed a little insert. That's going to go in there like that, and should finish it off a bit nicer once I've got it filled. So, solve that one. Now next up, I'm going to turn my attention to the wheels and tyres on this model, and these are what I'm going to use. I got them off AliExpress. I've got 6 of these, and when you assemble them, put them together, this is what they look like. It's not exactly right for the original FAB1, but it's pretty close. Now I did give a lot of thought as to how I was going to fasten these on. I toyed with the idea of making the model radio controlled. I soon dismissed that. I thought about setting these up so that the front wheels would turn when you turn the steering wheel. But actually the way that they fit in the wheel arches, they weren't going to be able to turn properly. So I basically decided it's just going to be like a giant dinky car, and I'm just going to fasten these onto an axle so that they spin but they don't turn. So I'm going to now start working on some kind of suspension system. Now I've worked out the axles for this car. I'm going to use a 6mm rod, and that is going to slide inside a 7mm aluminium tube. So the axle will spin inside there. And then I've 3D printed these little plastic inserts, and these go into the wheel in there. Snug fit. And the axle is going to push into there, like that. And I can put the other wheel on the other end, push them in, and that's my axle. I just need to make 3 of those. Well, I've designed and 3D printed some axle supports. This is the front one with the 2 sets of wheels. Very simple. The axles are just going to go into these grooves here, and this is the rear one. Now I had to have a couple of goes at these to get the dimensions right, but they turn out pretty well and they fit well. So I'm going to put those on and see how it looks with the wheels on. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Happy with that. Now I did wonder how I was going to finish off the bottom of this FAB one. You don't really get to see the underside of it in the TV show. So I decided to go back to my idea of making a gigantic dinky toy. And I found this picture online of what the bottom of a dinky car looks like, because I don't have one myself, and I decided to recreate that. And this is what I've come up with. I've designed and 3D printed this on Tinkercad and tried to recreate the lettering as though it is a very large scale dinky toy. Now I've just put these in place temporarily to show you what it looks like, but I think this is a bit of fun, and adds a little bit of character to the model. So that's where I'm going to leave it this time. In the next video I'm going to start working on some of the trim, like the front grille and the bumper bars. But for now, that's where I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Modelling Misadventures.